Hey, good morning, friends. Today, friends, is Friday, January the 24th, 2025, and the time now is 7:15 a.m. So, friends, I want to talk briefly about Donald Trump. I want to talk about Donald Trump signing over 200 executive orders and the possible implication, or the potential or possible consequences in the long term. Now, friends, you are watching the playlist series, The Trends and Headlines in U.S. Society and Domestic Politics, and this is episode 17. Once again, friends, you are watching the playlist series, The Trends and Headlines in U.S. Society and Domestic Politics, and this is episode 17. Now, friends, today, Friday, January the 24th, 2025, marks Donald Trump's first fourth day or 4 days of his second term in office. So it is actually interesting what is happening in the United States, in Washington, D.C., okay, relating to Donald Trump, the now current, okay, president of the United States, the 37th president of the United States. So we all know that on January the 20th, which was Martin Luther King's Day in the United States, Donald Trump became the 37th president of the United States. Basically, he was inaugurated. And he gave the speech that was very bold, or he delivered a speech that was very bold, full of cliches, contradictions, and a whole lot of things that basically got me, and I know lots of people in the United States and around the world, scratching their heads. And I'm saying this because I've heard it. People are saying it all over social media and throughout the news all over the world. Now, a couple of things that I observed, and I do apologize for deviating. Originally, what I was going to talk about is Donald Trump signing over 200 executive orders in the United States. But during the inauguration and the inauguration events, the inauguration ball and so on, a couple of things that was very interesting but got me scratching my head. One is that J.D. Vance, the current, okay, or now Vice President of the United States, seemed very much out of place. One, I observed and I was about to make a video about it, but I decided to just up out of it. After the election, after J.D. Vance and Donald Trump were elected Vice President and President of the United States, J.D. Vance basically disappeared from the media. And he only showed up, at least in my eyes, based on my observation, as inauguration approaches, okay, or on the inauguration day. Now, my friends, during the inauguration and also when Donald Trump was signing the first few executive orders on the first day of his administration and also the second day and so on, J.D. Vance stood there with him as it is traditional for the vice president to do. But for some reason, he looked very much out of place. He doesn't look like a vice president, at least in terms of the look. And I'm saying this because in the United States, everything now, whether we are talking about president and vice president, is about looks. But he looked out of place. JD Vance appeared to look like some young guy, maybe college student or a new on the boat college professor who was just happy to be in a position, okay, or in the presence of prominent scholars or people who he had idealized for a long time now throughout his life. Now, my friends, in terms of the executive order that Donald Trump signed, one thing that I got out of it, the whole thing, okay, it is said that Donald Trump had signed over 200 executive orders. He had repealed already about 78 of the executive orders that Joe Biden had passed. Now, Donald Trump is removing the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement. He is removing the United States from the WHO, the World Health Organization. He is repealing birthright in the United States, which is the idea or the reality that a child who is born in the United States to an illegal immigrant. This basically means that if your parents are illegal in the United States, if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen. Basically, what this means is that Trump is actually re-amending, okay? He is amending the United States Constitution. What we are seeing, it is just interesting. It is interesting. And I think people in the United States and around the world needs to be scratching their heads. Donald Trump, the guy who, there was a thing where he was dancing with sword, okay? They had a very big, a gigantic cake with, I think it has the seals of the various U.S. governmental departments. And J.D. Vance and Donald Trump had long, what looked like the military sword, long swords. And both of them were cutting the cake using sword. And I remember looking at this video, watching this video, the two guards behind J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, one being a woman and the other being a man, both of them white, of course. Their facial expression did not look happy. They looked very much concerned. But it was a comedic reality of the President of the United States cutting a gigantic cake with a very long sword and dancing with the sword in his hand. I think we at this point need to be looking at Donald Trump as not only being straight talker. I think that is what he had been projected and portrayed to be. He is basically just immature. I think he is unfit. Okay, what a lot of people had been saying, he is unfit for the presidency. Now, back to Donald Trump's executive order or orders. He is basically removing the United States from prominent international agreement, which in this case, I do believe should tell the rest of the world the U.S. cannot and should not be trusted. He is renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. These are just some of the things that he is going to be doing, okay, or that the executive order or orders are doing. He is basically calling U.S. guards, okay, the U.S. Army to the border between the United States and Mexico, along the border of U.S. Mexico. It is interesting. It is interesting. I think what we are seeing here, it is hateful, it is menacing, but it is comedic. One being that Donald Trump, within 48 hours, is signing over 200 executive orders. Now, friends, Donald Trump signing 200 or over 200 executive orders has several implications. One being that Donald Trump was not in the room when these executive orders were being drafted. I do not believe that he read all of them or that he knows exactly what is in these executive orders. The fact that he is signing all these orders, man, in just 48 hours or so, just within the first 4 days, it is menacing, it is hateful, it is comedic. I think it also demonstrates desperation in Donald Trump and also the United States, okay, the current U.S. government. Once again, friends, I think it demonstrates desperation in the current U.S. government. It demonstrates lack of confidence, self-esteem, or whatsoever in the current U.S. president and U.S. government. But I think for the rest of the world, it's something that the rest of the world is going to be laughing at for the ages. And it doesn't show any ounce of professionalism. It demonstrates mediocrity. And I think Americans needs to be very concerned. They need to be very concerned. And honestly, I do believe that even those who voted for Donald Trump, who wanted all these orders, okay, executive orders to be signed, who wanted immigrants out of the United States, I think for many with common sense, the manner in which these things are being done and the appearance of it, I think should be concerning. And I do believe many are concerned. And many are thinking, what did I do? What did I do by voting this man back into office? Honestly, what we are watching, I do believe, is we are watching the unpacking of the United States. We are watching the destruction of the United States being done by an American hand, by the hands of a white American. Now, in the United States, the governments always declare this or that person or this or that government or country the hater of the United States. Okay? An American hater or the hater of the United States. And that this or that person around the world or this or that government or this or that country is trying to destroy the United States. Honestly, the destruction of the United States is being done by an American. And I do believe that. And I do believe that if there are countries out there that do not like the United States, I do believe that what Donald Trump is doing is a gift for this country. We are watching the United States being destroyed, being unpacked by an American hand. And these countries that quote unquote do not like the United States do not have to go through the pain of trying to take out the United States and being bombed, being destroyed. Because in this case, they're going to be sitting back and let Americans do the job. And either way, they achieved what they want to achieve. Now, in terms of the United States is weak right now compared to the United States in the 90s and in the 80s and 70s and so on, or the United States following the First and the Second World Wars. However, honestly, friends, I do believe that the United States that we see today, I do believe will not be existing on the 1st of January 2100. And I'm not trying to be offensive or be controversial here, but once again, we need to be concerned. I do believe that we are watching the unpacking, the destruction of the United States, which is being done in real time. I also do believe that the collapse of the United States, yes, it's not going to be as the same as the collapse of other empires or other great and big and powerful countries. And I hope it doesn't be that, because the United States is the paragon of international relations, trade, economics, finance, infrastructures, and so on. And the United States has influence in every countries and regions around the world. Therefore, any major thing in the United States, any negativity in the United States, like a collapse of the United States, is going to be dangerously consequential for the rest of the world. I do believe that. However, I do also believe that the collapse of the United States is going to be the first televised collapse of an empire or of a massive, powerful country around the world or in the world. The collapse of the United States, I do believe, is going to be the first heavily witnessed collapse of an empire or of a massive, influential country in world history. And it's being done through social media, through the conventional media, and so on. Historically, when we want to research the collapse of an empire or of a country in the past, you have to go to the library. And not everyone in the world have access to the library. However, everyone have access to what? The cell phone, the internet as of now, even the most remote areas in the world that people are going to be researching, I do believe, in the far future. The collapse of the United States or what was happening in the United States without going through the pain, okay, the heavy burden, the work of trying to go through the library, looking for books and articles and all that. You just have to grab your phone, research, okay, basically type blah blah blah, the collapse of the United States, and then the algorithm is going to answer your prayer. But once again, what is being done with Donald Trump or by Donald Trump is painful to watch. It is menacing, it is hateful, and it is comedic. But it is very much serious. I think Americans and people around the world need to witness this. They need to pay close attention and they need to be concerned. You are signing over 200 executive orders within the first 4 days of your presidency. You don't know what the hell is in these documents. That's one. What's the point of all this? It shows that you had a plan. And also, these executive orders that are being signed are similar to or exactly what many had been warning the rest of America or Americans, that these things are actually what are in the document Project 2025. So Trump did backtrack during the election that he didn't know anything about Project 2025. But that's what he is doing as of now. When you repealing birthright, when you are ordering the U.S. military along the border of Mexico and the United States, when you are threatening Canada, when you are trying to change the name, the Gulf of Mexico, to the Gulf of America, it demonstrates desperation and lack of confidence. It doesn't make you strong. When you are going after illegal immigrants or immigrants and trying to take them out of the United States, okay, trying to deport them, it demonstrates desperation. It is stupidity, it is hateful, it is menacing, it is also comedic. Because I do believe that this is going to backfire. Immigrants in the United States, illegal or not, are heavily invested and they are heavily influential to the American system and the American finance, economics, jobs, and so on. You threaten the peace of immigrants and even illegal immigrants, you will eventually unpack the American economy, the American financial system, and so on. So Donald Trump is basically riding high. He is happy. He is projecting or portraying himself to be confident, to be strong and powerful. But everything that he is doing, I do believe, will backfire. Because some of these things, he is even going after Joe Biden. He is making fun of Joe Biden still. This has never been done, despite the many flaws of the United States. Many of us around the world, and even in the United States, we've always idealized the United States. Donald Trump makes it difficult for many of us and people around the world and in the United States to idealize the United States. This is a guy that went after TikTok. Joe Biden banned TikTok. And Donald Trump unbanned TikTok and giving TikTok about 75 days to basically figure out what they want to do, to make a decision. Basically, that American institutions or prominent money bags in the United States to purchase TikTok. That I do believe China is not going to allow that. China is not any weak country that is going to capitulate. But also, friends, the banning of TikTok also demonstrated something, because there is another app, Red Note, which when TikTok was banned, when the banning of TikTok took effect prior to Trump coming into office, many around the world or in the United States basically flocked to Red Note, the other app. And through that, many are seeing the differences between China and the United States in terms of technology, in terms of the control of information. Donald Trump is basically exposing the United States, and he is putting the United States in a very dangerous situation. Now, friends, I am going to end by saying that the signing by Donald Trump of over 200 executive orders and the repealing of about 75 orders that were signed by Joe Biden and other decisions that Donald Trump had made so far within his first 4 days. They are nothing but hateful, menacing, and comedic, and they are going to have far reaching negative consequences in the future. Now, friends, please tell me what you think, and I want to know what you think. But, friends, I'm going to end here. I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community, and most especially, friends, I want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace.